Well, I live next door, right to the church here. My husband and I just moved in, and God is good. You know, we just finished a leadership meeting right after the morning service. We're all come to Revival Center here, and we had a meeting for the Kingsway, all the leaders next door. And John and Lorna, we met through the Kingsway, and now they live with us. And so we take people in from the Kingsway, we bring them in our home. And so they've lived with us before and left, and they've come back. So we had just finished having a leadership meeting for the Kingsway, and we were just finishing up, and Becky and Miss Maureen here, and we're just getting ready to leave when Lorna and John's son, Sammy, had walked in. And when he had walked in, we were pretty well all at the front door, and Sammy had come in, and there was 2 miracles, actually. His mouth, he had a toothache, and he's got, like, bad teeth. And right before us, it was, 4 days he had this toothache. He's constantly complaining. And it was out. And so they had started praying, and we were praying in, like, the background tongues and that. And all of a sudden, just before our eyes, it was like his face started going down. And he said his toothache had gone. Now, I'm a believer of the gospel of Jesus Christ, or I would not be standing here. My husband, Renee, has been cured of an inoperable brain tumor. We have the proof from the doctors before, and we have the proof now. But when you see it with your own 2 natural eyes, although you're a believer, it's amazing how God just puts his hand in simple situations, in everyday simple people, and uses us through his power and the authority that he's given us through his word. And just, if we're obedient, if we're willing and obedient. And I was just shocked. Just before our eyes, his face started going down. So they had taken him into our living room, and they just started praying. I went into the kitchen. I came in, and I kind of just put my hand on with them, and we were praying in tongues, and they were praying. And all of a sudden, boom, like this. And I was in the background. I'm like, wow. You could see the cancer. He had a tumor on the back here. And he was scheduled for surgery at the end of February. When? For March 1st. And he was scared. He's been depressed and very angry about that. He's a young boy. You know, he shouldn't have that weight on his shoulders. And man, when that tumor came flying out in the garbage, my eyes got about this big. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is that? That was the tumor being spit out in our home as they prayed. That's the kind of God we serve, eh?
Shelley sort of told the beginning and the end of the story. There's a little bit in the middle that she missed out, but that's our Shelley. We love her to bits. I'm going to pass it to Becky, because Becky, this young man called Sammy, was wearing a certain sweatshirt. And Becky spoke to him. Now, this is an instant change. Only did the face get healed, because he couldn't believe, his whole countenance changed. He couldn't believe this mouth had gone down. He said, it doesn't hurt. After 4 days, it doesn't hurt me. Then she spoke to something else. So I'm going to pass it to Becky so Becky can share this piece about it, the shirt.
I kept noticing him at Kingsway. I had no idea that he was Lorna's son. But every time I saw him, he just looked so depressed. But he had the same shirt, the same sweatshirt every day. And it had a skull, which represents that spirit of death. So when he walked in that day, I thought, well, I got to say something to him. And I told him, I don't mean to offend you. It wouldn't hurt your feelings to save my life, but can you get rid of that T-shirt? That sweatshirt, can you take it off? And so, we talked to him, then we prayed for his tooth. And then he kind of turned around and got in the hallway, and me and Maureen were talking. Next thing we knew, he was over there doing that. So he took it off. And the minute he took it off, it was like he was taking off grave clothes, taking off that spirit of death. And man, the Lord just started speaking, and we started, prophesying. And what really tickled me too was Miss Maureen knew. She's like, you feel nauseated, don't you? Because me and her have been talking and learning, learning from each other about deliverance. And she knew that stuff was that nest of, cancer and infirmity, spirit of death was rising up. But what tickled me the most too was the Lord told him he was gonna write music. He started writing music like the next day. And then yesterday in Kingsway, he's like, Miss Becky, I'm working on my second song. So the Lord's given him a new song to sing. The Lord gave that boy life. So he is just amazed. I can't wait for him to sing it because it's not the usual, la-ta-da or whatever. It's like, it's hip-hop. It's beautiful. Teenagers are going to love it. Christy, you're going to love it. Ben, you're going to love it. So I can't wait for him to do that. So he did. It makes you almost want to sing it.
As Becky was sharing there with Sammy, what happened is I got a word of knowledge. I felt really sick to my stomach, nauseated. And I asked him, I said, Sammy, are you feeling sick? He said, well, I said, because I'm feeling something here too. I said, I want to explain to you a little bit. Sometimes those demons need to be spat out. So we explained a little bit about what can happen. So that's when we got the garbage can, and it was like, well, he spat, put it this way, there was a lot coming out of it. But he was totally delivered of it. His whole countenance changed. You wouldn't think it was the same boy. And he is a young boy. Is he 20, 21? 24, okay, he looks younger than that. But he wouldn't think it was the same boy. In fact, it's not the same boy, because we know he's been set free and delivered. He's now living for the Lord. He's dedicated.
He was before, but then he walked away for a little while.
So the prodigal returned, and he got a healing in to boot. He got everything. All in this one day, got everything. So it was an awesome, awesome day. And Lorna wants to share now about her son. So it was a wonderful miracle.
Yeah, it was. I thought you were going to. Yeah, wow, I'm a bit nervous, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing, like in front of my own eyes, and we were all kind of gagging because we were watching this come out and that, and it's a miracle. I have to speak for John most of the time because John's very shy in front of people and that, so I do a lot of talking for John. But yeah, Sammy, what the sweatshirt I had been saying over and over again, and Al, you would know too about the red hooded sweatshirt, and I kept saying he's not taking it off. Why isn't he taking it off? It was really bothering me, because even his eyes started to darken, and he just wasn't the same kid that I knew. And when she got him to take it off, it was like, wow, I've been doing this for days, trying this for days to get him to take it off, and you finally get him to take it off. And he threw it in the garbage, and it's gone. And it's right on, and he comes into the Kingsway, and his new song's called 2000 and Shine. And abide in the mind, abide in the vine, and it's awesome. He did it in a day. He wrote it out, yeah. And I think he let Ben read it. And that, so he's starting to come back. And I'm so happy. Eagle Worldwide's done an amazing job on our family. And 2009 for us is awesome. He's doing an amazing work on our family right now.